Right, this game, 16-bit, that is the map. This is Hazatete, which is Harry, versus Ollie, and we've got Harry up here in the down here in the bottom left of 16-bit, and Ollie up in the top right. 16-bit from the sort of last season map pool, and it's an alright map. Don't mind 16-bit. Quite good for macroing up because you've got a pocket expand. This is your main base. If I zoom out here, this area, the only way into it is via this ramp. So you can even wall off here and you've got an expand. But if you wall off here, you've got 3 bases ready to go. So what are these two players up to? Ollie, with the supply depot coming down at the back here, it's an unusual location, but against Terran, nothing wrong with that really. Harry not building workers at present, which is of some concern. If we look, he's still got the 12 workers that he started the game with. He's built some gas, and he's now building a command center. So given the location of the command center, gas into command center, no workers being built, I would suggest Harry hasn't got a clue what he's doing. I would question whether Harry has played a single game of StarCraft before now. So over here, meanwhile, the barracks at the top of the ramp is a pretty standard location for a barracks. Normally, though, you'd have your supply depots either side of it so that you can stop stuff getting in. And while against Terran it's less of a thing to do, it can still be useful because it can block a worker scout from coming into your base and snooping. Over in Harry's side of the map, still hasn't built any additional workers, is mining gas. What's he going to spend the gas on? You don't have a barracks, neither are you building a barracks. You're building a command center. What can you build from command centers? Workers. Are you building any workers? No, you're not. So no clue what is going on there. At present, even in this early stage of the game, I would say that Ollie is massively ahead. He's 20 workers against 12, has got a barracks, can build units, has got supply depots, is not supply blocked, is mining gas. All of these things are good. These are positive things. I suppose the one thing you can say for Harry is that he's got an expo up. It just isn't in an expand location. It's just also in his main base. There's nothing good that I can say about that. That is a pointless exercise. Sometimes as Terran, you would build a CC in your main base to then fly it out into an expand location. Normally that would be the sort of thing you might do against Zerg, and it would typically be that you do that so that Lings can't deny the expo. So maybe you've got the wall here to protect yourself, and if you try and build on here, some Lings are going to disrupt that. So you build it up here, and while it's building, you can build enough units, make enough units so that as you fly it down, your units can move down to keep it protected. In this game, when you've got this pocket expo, there's no good reason to have this here. So over on the Ollie side of the map, things looking fairly normal. Expo in the pocket location, as you'd expect. The Rax is now building Marines 2 at a time. So what I would expect, there's only one barracks here, and really, you've got an expand and stuff, you've got some money, build another barracks, build another 2 barracks, build another 3 barracks. There's a factory coming down as well, so the factory will enable you to build some mech units. Initially just Hellions, Widow Mines, but if you put a tech lab on there, then you can crank out things like siege tanks, which are useful units and a very common unit in TVT. So plenty of depots for Ollie. He is doing a good job of making sure he's not supply blocked. Harry has now actually built a worker, so that's exciting stuff. He's built a couple of workers. He's also got this barracks up, but no Marines yet. This should be ringing alarm bells when you look up in the top right of your screen and you see that you've got over 1,000 minerals, and you think, how much army have I got? None, literally none, not a single unit. 4.5 minutes in, don't have anything that shoots. But I've got loads of money. Surely at some point you think, what could I spend that money on? Maybe, given that this is a game of war, some army. So So I'd love to see some units actually being built here. And look, Hellions in production, queued up, but you know, at least we're going to have a unit shortly. So there's the tech lab I was talking about on the factory, and these are the siege tanks that I was talking about being built. Siege tanks, great units. So there's all sorts of stuff for Ollie here. There's the starport, there's the armory. Armory allows you to get upgrades for your mech units like tanks. The Marines are still coming out two at a time. I'd really like to see a barracks with a tech lab on it so that you can get combat shield and stim from these Marines. Really improves their value, how efficiently you can trade with them. Tech lab for a starport is a bit unusual. That enables things like Ravens. It enables Banshees to be built. But you know, unless you're going to be building Banshees, there doesn't really seem to be much of a point in having a tech lab. Typically, I would go starport reactor so that I can get those medevacs out two at a time. Okay, there aren't very many upgrades from the starport tech lab that you'd be interested in unless you're going to be building Banshees. So more siege tanks coming. If I look at the army supply, we've got 28 for Ollie here, 12 for Harry. But these units are, you know, some of these 4 Hellions will not fare well against 4 siege tanks that there's about to be on the map. So, you know, it's the supply now quite a lot in favour of Ollie. If both these players A-click across the map, there's absolutely no doubt about who comes out on top here. So Harry is building a bunker. If I could just criticise, oh my goodness, he's loaded SCVs into his command centre. So this command centre, you can see, it now contains 5 SCVs that are doing nothing. So he wants to fix that. Just unload them, get them mining. He also wants to fly this down here so that it's actually performing a function. But you know, all good things. At least we've now got some buildings. At least we've got some units. Quite a few idle workers standing about. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 idle workers just parked doing nothing. A further 5 idle workers sitting chilling inside this command centre. Not sure I like it, but yeah, if I could criticise both these players, it's this. If I look from the vision of Harry, this is what he knows about his opponent's base, and if I look at the vision of Ollie, this is what he knows about his opponent's base. So, you know, neither one of them has done any scouting whatsoever, literally nothing. So neither one of them knows what to expect. They don't know what is coming, they don't know when it's coming, they know nothing. Widow mines, very, very useful. You know, with the bunker, the widow mine, if you set up defensively here, you know, obviously stuff has to come up a ramp. In a defensive sort of position, you can do quite well, but I fear there is just too much army coming from Ollie. There's battle cruisers being made here. No upgrades for anything yet, but still, these extra barracks coming down as well are going to mean that he can really ramp up production. Harry momentarily, oh look, this Marine just wanders in uncontested and is just going to see everything. Just wanders in and sees the lot. There's nothing he doesn't know. He even just starts shooting stuff. Oh gosh, yeah, good. So, well, at least one of our players has done some scouting. Here we are from Harry's point of view. He's just looking at his stuff, going, oh yeah, look at my stuff. I've got some stuff. And this is literally his point of view, so he can see these workers standing doing nothing, and that isn't bothering him. He's fine with that. He can see them, but it isn't bothering him. And actually, even though he sees them, he needs to build more supply depots. He doesn't select the ones that aren't doing anything. He selects 2 that were actually busy to build those depots. If we look from Ollie's point of view, he's also looking at this stuff and he likes what he sees. So yeah, this is all right. There's this battle cruiser coming out. This down at the bottom here, this tells a serious story, doesn't it? 61 to 113 supply. There's no doubt really who's got the significant advantage. So these siege tanks are going to be devastating. All he's got to do is drive up to here, siege up, walk up the ramp, and this game is over. If he has A-clicked, he's got to be a little bit careful, because obviously the battle cruisers are not that fast, but they do fly in a very straight line, you know, as the crow flies, that type of thing. So they can get there first, and you don't want them to get separated out and end up, I think actually it's going to even out, isn't it? The faster moving units are going to end up turning up at the same time as the slow moving in a straight line. Yeah, so I think we know how this is going to go. There is a bunker, but it's nothing in it. There are widow mines, but they're not burrowed. There are liberators, but they're not in liberation mode. So it is just going to be a massacre. The widow mines do nothing. I don't think Ollie actually lost a unit, did he? Oh, he did. Look, 5 units in fact. Although one of those was the Scottish Marine from out earlier. So yeah. A pretty one-sided battle in the end. Pulls the workers, that is not really going to achieve much. This is GG. So, you know, what we're, I guess we just sit and watch these units plow through the rest of the base here, because there is absolutely no way back. So, what have we learned? We've learned that in the early stages of the game, you do need to build units. You know, don't be thinking that you don't need an army. In this game, you very much do. That's kind of the nature of the game. GG.